All right, welcome back to the COS Business Podcast. My name is Andrew Hasley, and I am the host of the show. Today, I'm sitting here with Mandy Kobilan with Cord Meadows and Lighthouse Group. Why'd you go with Lighthouse?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
So I read a book years ago, and it was, when you're starting in business, you read all the books and you want to learn all this stuff. And one of them talked about being a lighthouse in a storm of questions. And so I was like, oh my gosh, that's what I do with health insurance every day. And so we were going back and forth, Kobilan Group, or, all of these different names. And we're like, lame-o.
Yeah.
Like it didn't speak to anything. And so lighthouses, I've always had them in my material that I give out, but nobody's really asked about it. I never really talked about it. It was just always there. And so I was like, well, what if we do Lighthouse Group? Because we really want to be a light for people in storms of questions about health insurance, life insurance, financial wellness. So here we are. That's what we're called.
Like a beacon.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we get the mic just a little bit closer?
There we go.
All
Is that
right.
good? Is that better?
That should be good. Yes. And
Yeah.
then turn this up and just making sure everything is rolling.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's awesome. So you kind of that's your brand. That's your focus. Is like if people have questions, you're there to guide them.
Yeah.
You're their guiding light. In a sense.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
awesome. And I believe brand is huge. I think any company can be successful like without focusing on brand. But if you want like long term, like generational, like something that's going to last a while and build something that can be like even huge if you want to, like you need to start working and focusing on brand.
Sure. Yep.
And the fact that you have that kind of already built into because you do health insurance, people like I do video, other people do video, other people do health insurance, but you're branding as, that the guiding light. I kind of like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now a word from our sponsors. Planet Duct offers astronomical air duct cleaning with the most powerful vacuum trucks in Colorado. They have taken air duct cleaning to a new intergalactic level that is far more powerful and proactive than any on the market in El Paso County or Southern Colorado. Reach out to Planet Duct for any of your air duct cleaning needs. Recon Marketing is the fastest growing social media agency in Colorado. Recon focuses on becoming an extension of your business while providing social media management, review management, and digital marketing. Recon Marketing, putting you on the radar. Power Tool Safe is revolutionizing tool tracking and protection for everybody. With Power Tool Safe, you can protect the equipment that keeps your business running. Go to powertoolsafe.com and start your new account now and register up to $10,000 in tools for free.
And I'm hoping that that's what people see when they speak to us as well, that there is that behind us. Like, let us help you figure it out. It doesn't mean that you're going to go with us. That's okay too. But we're there to guide whether you're a client of ours or not.
Yeah. Sweet.
So,
yeah. And then Cord Meadows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you got your health insurance business and then you got your wedding venue, which is just an exciting thing.
Yes. Totally related, right?
Yeah.
No.
Maybe it is.
Well, you know what's beautiful about it is I started health insurance 7 years ago. I had nothing to do with owning my own business. I knew nothing about it. I worked in, the nonprofit world. So starting my own business was really scary. I didn't know anything about it. My husband was actually really helpful in that because he already had his own business at that point.
Nice.
But I learned so much about how to grow a business and how to start one that I was like, we could do this. We could use the property that we have for something, for a business. At that point, I really thought I could raise cattle.
Okay.
I thought that I could be really good at that. And then my husband let me know that was not the case. Like, you're not going to be great at that.
You were feeling it, though. You're like, I could do this.
I could do this. I can do this. No, absolutely not. After doing 4-H animals, I'm like, no.
Okay.
Okay. So we had some people that came to our wedding. So we got married in our backyard. That thought the space was awesome. Like, this place is beautiful. That were like, well, why can't we do this? Ours was super successful and we did it for under $3,000 with everything.
Nice. Oh,
Everything.
wow. Okay. And what does the typical wedding go for? Cost, I meant.
It depends on where your venue is, but I would say 10 grand plus on the
with all the stuff, you know, getting like everything, maybe even including like a photographer and stuff like that.
Yeah. And then there's some venues alone, are like the $12,000 range. Like, it is.
Oh yeah,
it
for
is
sure.
a thing.
I mean, I could imagine even way bigger than that.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. Yep. I've heard up towards 200,000.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
So that was really where it came from. And there was just one trip that we went on. We're like, do we want to do this? Is this something we can do? And
hmm
so it's kind of how we've run our lives. Like we have this thought, we kind of pray about it, think about it, and then we just kind of are led from there. And so
hmm
we just said, okay, well, let's try it. And we've learned how to run a wedding business now. So, kind of got it
hmm
dialed in a little
For
bit
sure.
more. And
You know about the whole entire industry?
we have a pretty good grasp on
Mhm.
things on the casual side. So
Gotcha.
if you asked me to be a coordinator at the Broadmoor, I would probably fall apart.
Oh, gotcha.
Super good at coordinating a
Mhm.
barn wedding.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's been really good. We haven't had to do any kind of work with SEO. We have a website that was built, but we don't really touch it much. So it's a lot of word of mouth. Our hope is that we're the hidden gem in Colorado Springs.
Nice.
And it's kind of worked that way. We do a handful of weddings. We
Mhm.
don't do every weekend. When we have a client in front of us, we're like, if it works, it works. If it's not, it's not. And
Mhm.
we're okay with that.
For sure.
So I say we do a handful in
Mhm.
a summer.
Would you
and then
say
call it good.
it's like a side business?
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
Mhm.
Yep. It was a great way to build a business, have our kids watch us build a business, have our kids be a part of that.
Mhm.
Our kids have been working there since they were this big and awful employees.
Okay.
And now they're teenage boys and they kind of got that dialed in and they're much better employees at this point. We've hired on some other employees, since then. So
Mhm.
it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's always
So
changing.
you're saying 8-year-olds don't listen very well?
They're awful. And especially when they're like, you're their mom and their
Mhm.
stepmom.
Mm.
Yeah.
And
Stepmom is
their
a boss. Like,
Yeah, and their
ugh.
employer. So.
Yeah, it's awful. So
Wow,
I
okay.
always told the kids, don't ever let me be mom out here. I'm
Okay.
boss out here. If I turn
Yes.
into mom, it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
So there's been times I've had to turn into mom.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do the clients like that it's like a family environment?
I think that's the one thing when I talk to people that are doing tours with us, I will say, here's how we're different.
Mm-hmm.
We're not booking back to back. For people that like do this, like good for them. This
For
is
sure,
a
yeah.
hard
Mhm.
thing to do. Wedding
Yeah.
business is hard and it's a lot of hours
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's hard on your body. You have to have
Mhm.
all of your ducks in a row. So,
And it's like an important moment in someone's life,
Oh.
so it's like you
Oh.
gotta be aware of that.
like there's a lot
and
that
doing
goes
back to
into
back,
that.
you may be you. It's not like you can lose the personal touch maybe if you're too overwhelmed. And I'm not
Yes.
saying people can't do
Yes.
it because like I was just doing a wedding last week, and that wedding planner, she said she's like the venue manager there too. She said they did 6 weddings in the last week.
Oh my gosh.
in
And
one
you
week.
do lose that like relationship, personal touch.
Mhm.
And that's exactly what I tell people. I was like, well, we don't do a lot of weddings
Mhm.
because we don't want to do a lot of
For sure.
weddings. And when you come to us and you have your wedding here, you're a part of our family. You're a guest in our home.
Mhm.
So we want you to come back. We want you to bring the babies with you. We want you to do Christmas pictures out here. We want
Oh,
you to come
yeah.
to our
Mhm.
family barbecues. We don't do back-to-back weddings, so you're going to have time. You're
Mhm.
not getting rushed out the door, which I understand with
Mhm.
people that are doing a lot of weddings in a short period of time.
Mhm.
They have to have things done at a
Mhm.
certain time frame.
And they're probably really good at it too, you know.
Oh
but-
my gosh, watching people
Yeah.
that, do that on the regular is
Mhm.
pretty amazing.
For
So,
sure, yeah.
we just don't have that in our wheelhouse right now. Right now, I couldn't handle it. Me doing the business and Lighthouse Group, like a
Yeah.
little deer in the headlights. So that is one thing that's in our future to really think about is how do we start from here? And now we're evolving into maybe something that I'm hiring somebody to do what I
Yeah.
do so I can step back a little bit. Really hard for control freaks.
Yes.
Really hard. Really hard. So
Yes. Mhm.
we're kind of in like let's think about this stage and maybe
Mhm.
in the next year or two be able to pull the trigger on that.
Yeah.
So-
And how long has Three Chords Meadows been around?
This is our 5th season.
5th season. Okay. Nice.
Yeah, we
okay.
made it through COVID. I mean, that's
Mhm.
been the blessing of it being a second business that, it's
Mhm.
not our bread and butter. is that we're like, oh, COVID?
Mhm.
Okay, no big deal.
Yeah.
Which is that really hurt a lot of vendors in the wedding
Oh,
industry
the
big time.
venues altogether.
Yeah,
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 anything with kind of, events were
yeah,
just shut down, and
yeah.
that's just, like, terrible.
We had to pivot a lot, and there was a lot of, if we were gonna do weddings, we had to be very thoughtful of
Mhm.
how we're doing that, and how do you keep people safe, and how do you still, show love to people and allow them their day, but then also, keeping people safe. It was a lot of
Mhm.
pivoting, which is really great for your business anyway,
Mhm.
because you learn how to pivot,
Yeah.
quickly.
You find the maybe the weak links too, and
Yeah,
you weed out the things that just you can't waste time on
yeah,
anymore,
absolutely, absolutely, and in health insurance too.
Yeah.
I went from, meeting people kneecap to kneecap at their kitchen table to talk about
Mhm.
health insurance to only virtual,
Mhm.
and doing everything on my computer. So I have changed to that. I have become more productive because
Yes.
of that, and saving so much money in
Mhm.
gas.
Yeah, and time too. That's
Yes.
huge, especially for you since you live out in
Yeah.
Ellicott. You
Yeah.
probably that's a whole journey for you. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a 15-minute drive downtown for me. But I'd like to book. I mean, I kind of minimize my meetings like that, my one-on-one meetings, and the podcast actually maintained in person only,
Yeah.
which is like we were the only ones really saying in person only at the time,
Yeah.
but we were just doing one-on-ones. It's not like
Yeah.
we were doing uh, like a big
Yeah.
event or something,
Right. Right.
but yeah, like I did shut the podcast down for 4 months, and I was thinking about not even picking it back up
I
because
know.
yeah, I told you about that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild though that like things change so much that you're like, cut the fat. Do I need to do
Mhm.
this?
Yeah.
Is this serving me, or is it,
Mhm.
become a,
And it was
just this
before
thing
I
I
got the
have to
office
do?
and I got the space. I would go to people
Oh,
I would
wow.
be going to Cord Meadows probably right now to record the episode.
Yeah. Okay.
The first few episodes or the first 16 episodes.
Okay.
And just I evolved it. I was like, I really want a space, I really want to lock it down
Yeah.
and grow it. So I've probably talked about that ad nauseum by now on this podcast. So yeah. So with the wedding business, has that helped with the health insurance business? Does that build connections?
I think what the good thing about the wedding business as you're building connections is we were just talking about this, but I do think it's quite funny. Like with health insurance, um, people never want to talk about it.
Mhm.
It's so boring.
Until they need
And
to.
right until
Mhm.
they need to. But like to have that conversation, are like, everybody does insurance. You're gonna try to like sell me something that I don't
Mhm.
need. And then they're just checked out. Right.
Mhm.
And I get it. It's super boring. It's really expensive. It's not fun to talk about, right?
For sure.
Insurance. I know
Yeah.
this.
You're paying for something that hasn't happened. So
Yes. It's just
Mhm.
not the most fun thing ever. And all of you doing insurance out there, sorry if that offends you, but insurance is boring.
But you do insurance, so you can say
Yeah.
that.
But then on the wedding business side, oh, that's so exciting and fun and happy, and people really think
Mhm.
like what a fun job. And so there's so much to talk about
Mhm.
with the wedding business. And everybody knows people that are getting married.
Mhm.
So I think it's just, yes, it has helped because I think people see, oh, Mandy, she owns Cord Meadows, really cool. But
Mhm.
then to learn to find out, all of
Yeah.
the other things that we do, and actually the health insurance side and the financial business side was actually the lead up to owning a business like Cord Meadows.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So was Lighthouse first?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, Lighthouse is our new rebrand. So this
Rebrand,
is so
yes. Mhm.
exciting. It's a perfect time.
Yeah.
It used to be health insurance consultations,
Mhm.
and that's exactly what I did. I was
Mhm.
just a consultant for health insurance, and I got that name because that's what I named my Facebook page.
Yeah. Okay.
There was really nothing extravagant about it.
Good for
I'm like,
SEO.
yeah, I was like, and it says exactly what I did.
Mhm.
Nobody had to wonder what
Mhm.
that meant. So I did that for 7 years. I celebrated 7 years in June, and it's been great. Lots of ups and downs. being a business owner. There's just so many ups
Mm-hmm.
and downs and trying to maneuver through these waters of the unknown,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Um, but gosh, it's been really fruitful. And I think it is building relationships with
Mm-hmm.
people and demonstrating that trust factor over and over and
Yes.
over again that has really led to a great, solid referral only business.
Mm-hmm.
And now that things have changed a little bit, we've rebranded, we've added services. My husband's joining me in it. That we're going to really grow not only because of those referrals and because of the things that we've done, but then
Mm-hmm.
now we're adding the SEO part on there too.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah. So people will be able to search and find you,
Yeah.
getting a new source of traffic on top of that, and then building that
Yeah.
referral power.
Yeah.
It's like
Absolutely.
most of my business right now, like all year, has been based on like referrals and stuff.
It's
But
huge.
it's also based on me making content, me branding myself, me
Yep.
putting myself out there.
Yeah.
Because when I do that, I have someone reach out to me. Like they remember, oh, that's the guy that did that video. That's
Yep.
the guy that did that photo.
Yep.
I posted a photo of the moon the other day, and someone reached out to me, wanting me to do some photography of their dog. So
Oh my gosh. It's so interesting. And like I kind of visualize it as little nests that you have and you like put these cute little eggs in each nest. And then when this nest might be empty, you start, oh, well, what can I do to fill that?
hmm
Because they all come in at
hmm
different times and you can't anticipate what's going to hit and when. So you
hmm
do have to have them all laid out there
Yeah, yeah.
so
And
that you're prepared for
yeah,
it.
and one of my baskets is photography. One
Yeah.
of my baskets is video production. And now another one of my baskets is weddings now. So
Yeah. Which we talked about. It's
yes.
super exciting.
Yeah, I thought it was so coincidental that and then I realized we actually intentionally planned this, I think. So like during wedding season, I
Yep.
think. And then I was like, well, it's coincidental. I just did a wedding and now I got Mandy coming on next week. And
It's super exciting.
yeah, I thought it was
Yeah.
really cool. Like we planned the wedding I got hired 2 months ago for the wedding. And it was from a referral. Someone who it was the photographer for the wedding. I didn't know her, but she reached out looking for a videographer on like Facebook, and someone
Yeah.
I knew tagged me, and then next thing I know, I was having a conversation.
Like,
And
you never know. And that
yeah.
all comes from networking and putting content out there and just
hmm
people seeing your face
Yeah.
and seeing what you're doing. And that just creates a top of mind attitude.
hmm
And then it happens just
Yeah.
like
And
that.
I was
So it's
actually
really
very
cool.
nervous too,
Oh,
because
I bet.
I had never done a wedding before, and I'd done okay. I lie. I filmed 2 weddings before, but I don't count them. So so I've never done a wedding before, is what I say. But I've never actually uh like I'm there just for this. Like
Yeah.
last year, I filmed my brother's wedding, but I was also a groomsman.
Yeah.
So it makes it kind of hard
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
And so it's like I was excited and nervous to because I wanted to make sure that I was doing
Yeah.
the best job.
Sure.
And what was why did I bring that up? Oh yeah, but I got in the meeting with the prospect, the client, the potential client, and I told her, I mean, I'm always authentic,
Yeah.
I'm always like real. It's like I want you to know, it's like this will be I do video. I know how to make good video.
Yeah.
And then I sent her some of the videos that I've done, and they were like, let's do it. It's
Yeah.
like, let's make it happen.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So yeah.
When is it going to come out?
A couple weeks, probably
Okay.
probably a week or two. So I gotta get that
I can't
in
wait
the
to see it.
pipeline and edited.
Nice.
And it's funny because I filmed my brother's wedding and my little brother's wedding, and I still haven't edited their video yet.
Oh,
So
jeez.
it was a year ago.
That stuff is, wedding
Mhm.
video, it's so detailed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they weren't a client either, so
Yeah.
it's a different story.
Yeah.
So,
There's
so I
a
told
lot
them
of
I told them that I would
details
have
that go in
have it by their anniversary, and I'm still a week or two late by that. But no, if it's a client, it's not going to take a year. I want to make that clear.
Let's talk about this. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, and me too. So
Yeah.
that's what I always say too. It's like I filmed it, yes, but it's like I don't even get to see it until I'm done editing it. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And like I see it as it's building, and it's like changing, making all these creative decisions. A lot of people don't see
Oh,
the creative decisions behind some of the things, and like
Yep.
the detail. And I'm really excited to get into the wedding space, I guess you could say. More, it's like I'm not gonna focus, just gonna let it naturally
Yeah.
happen. And it's I got hired by the groom's mother. And the wedding planner / venue manager there, she loved how I was like my communication skills with everyone. She loved my attention to detail.
Yep.
She had like a nightmare with a videographer before, like not a nightmare, just someone who just didn't, just kind of, he stood in the aisle the whole time.
Yes.
Yep.
That happens.
Yes.
That happens.
And she was like, I can't believe he's just standing there the whole
Yep.
time. And she appreciated my attention to detail, my respect for the environment and everything. And she said she just wants to send me all, like, refer me to everyone. And she does a lot of weddings.
Yeah,
like,
that is
like
awesome.
we were just discussing. So.
That is awesome.
So that's cool, yeah. And
So
I didn't mean to go on a
happy for
tangent
you.
on my own thing, but
No, I think it's so cool
Yeah.
and good to know.
For sure. Yes,
Good to
exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's like that's the nature of this podcast. You know, it's a conversation. We don't need to overanalyze things. Sometimes we'll have a guest. You know, the week before they're like, I mean, understandably, like I used to get nervous before each episode, so I understand someone's first time coming to a place they had never been to. Like they may be a little bit anxious and they want things to go right. So some people are just like they'll send like a whole like.
Oh.
It takes me 10 minutes to read the email that they got.
I didn't do that.
Yeah.
I didn't do that for you. I'm sorry.
No, I'm glad you didn't do that because that overwhelms me. I'm not like, I don't like reading 10-minute long emails.
Oh,
I get a lot of on my plate. And like we have the automated emails that were sent out to make sure that I don't have to do that.
Yep.
They're supposed to automate things for me, not make it more.
Yes.
So
Cool.
it definitely that's cool when people do that. I mean, it's okay. You can do that. I'm not gonna like it's not gonna make me mad or upset. You know?
Yeah.
But I also you don't need to be super prepared because it's a conversation. I
Yes.
guess was my point.
Yeah.
You know?
Perfect.
Yeah, we like to keep it natural. Someone sent me like a script. They wanted me to, after they said this question, this is how you're going to respond. And I was like, no, that's not how we do this.
So today, after I respond, you're gonna be like, oh, that's amazing.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, it was just kind of funny. Yeah. But yeah, so with Cord Meadows and the health insurance, you do think that it has been business development for your health insurance company.
Yeah.
And leads to that just because people find that out as a secondary thing, but they have built that know, like, and trust kind of with you already. And that is your like foot in the door in a way.
Absolutely.
Because when it comes to health insurance, it's like how do people find health insurance? What mindset are they in when this is usually happening?
It's usually that there's something that happened that they've lost it, that they need it, right? Or that it's that time of year, which is coming up. So that time called open enrollment.
Yes.
If you're self-employed, you've heard of it. If you're on a group insurance plan, they have that once a year for their group plan. But basically what that is it's a time of year in which Affordable Care Act, Marketplace, Exchange, all of those are multiple words for the same kind of thing. But those, like Obamacare, that's a quote unquote what people talk about and use for the terminology. But that's just the time of year when people shop. It doesn't mean that those are the only options. I mean, the only time that you can shop for plans. You can shop all year long, and I can walk you through some non-traditional plans versus Marketplace traditional plans. But that's when everybody's thinking about it, is for the new year. So January 1 is when all of these new plans start. In order to get onto those plans, November through December is the time frame to look at it. So that's kind of our crazy season. Starts November 1. So I'm already scheduling people into November at this point, and we're just in September.
Okay.
So yeah, it's gotten, I've had some people that have come through the venue that are now health insurance and financial clients.
Nice.
I've had some people that come through, we've had a couple, it was probably one of our most memorable weddings. But they became friends of ours. They come to Oktoberfest every year, which we can talk about.
Yeah.
And then, gosh, they own their own business. So now they come to COS networking and they're networking with us. And we've become really solid friends. There's another gal that got married with us. She's a realtor, and we do some networking together with that. So it's just very interesting. You just don't know who's going to walk through that door and be a part of your business life, your personal life, etc.
For
So
sure,
just
yeah.
being open to those things is just really cool. And that's your journey. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's your life journey. And I was teaching my kid about this. He just went off to college, and it's our first to go away to college. So like, number one, can't believe we're there, like age wise.
Oh yeah.
But like, how did this
Reality.
happen? But it's fun to watch your children like get their start in that journey. And I was telling them, I'm like, you're going to be presented as you walk along and you think you know exactly where you're headed. You're going to be presented with things that are either going to serve you or they're not going to serve you. And you're just going to have to make those decisions. And that's what's going to guide you in your life and to where you're going to go. And I mean, especially in business, man, we all have felt that, where is that a door that's open and is that door going to serve me or is that going to hurt me? Should we try it? And then the risks you take in walking through those doors, the lessons you learn walking through those doors, heartache, walking through those doors. So it's just an interesting concept to think about, just being open to people that come through and you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah,
So.
it's definitely chaotic. This life is, and it's unpredictable for sure. You just got to take those shots though. I mean, you may not know is what I agree, but you could stand there not knowing and not making any action at all. Maybe you are going to take the bad door.
Yeah,
but it's better than taking no door.
Yeah. And then that, I mean, whether good or bad, that always leads you to something in your life worthwhile. Right. So like people that have gone through some trauma or heartbreak or, just challenges in their life, it has led to some wisdom, and thoughtfulness, and it does lead you to somewhere better.
If you let it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I totally agree with that. I mean, I can get, and when you send out the thing about what were some challenges in your business, I'm like, what were some? And all I can come up with is that I'm very sensitive to things around me. And so as things are hard in business, I just took everything personally.
Yes.
And it just, my poor husband, like I would just be like distraught and devastated with the smallest little things. Now I've come out of that. Things still affect me quite a bit, but I've learned to just like, wait a minute,
I think
God's
I'm very
in charge
similar.
of me,
Yes.
but God's also in charge of these people over here. I am not, and so I have to really, there's a lot of self-talk, but that's probably, the hard thing for me is realizing that everything's a journey. There's a reason for this. And I've got to figure out my way out of that, but that's going to lead me somewhere else. So
what, do you have a particular example that you'd like to share of something that was hard?
Well, I come from, divorced family, right? So not my parents, but me personally, divorce, early on. That was pretty rough, when, and I was, something people don't know about me is I was a music therapist.
Oh, yes.
My job was to work with young kids using music as a therapeutic medium in order to help them grow into the next developmental stage. So super fun to do. And I had a really kick-ass job. Like my job was great. And then, divorce happens and you have to move away to a place you don't know anybody. You lose your job, you lose your friends, you have no income, and you have a 2 or 4-year-old. And so moving in with your parents. So it's those kinds of things where you're like, oh my gosh, how am I?
And were you like in your 20s or 30s or
30s?
Okay.
Late 20s. Yeah, late 20s.
Yeah. That could be a hard pill to swallow, like the pride that you have to just eat.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So that was just so hard to like think about. Oh man, I had all of these things lined up for me just to have them knocked down. Thankfully I had my family supporting me in that. But to think about like, I have to rebuild myself in a brand new place with nothing. Ended up that, putting the time and effort in, it was good. Like it was good. And I ended up in an awesome place. My kids and I talk about that now, just about how far that we've come in that amount of time. But yeah, just rebuilding and like working hard. And I was determined to buy my own house, buy my own car. And yep, you do have to eat some pride and you
Yeah.
do have to start at the bottom again. And I did. And you do have to realize what you've done in that situation to make that situation what it is. And, but then like move on. The past is the past and that doesn't define who we are
For
right
sure.
now. So, at that point, like, well, I'm an awesome mom. I'm going to have a career and I'm going to be a homeowner. And I mean, it took some time, but I did it. And then here we are now. I mean, just living in the country, couple businesses, like who would have thought, just sent my kid to college. She's on a full tuition scholarship and
Nice. Okay.
everybody's just really doing well. And I think it's just making right decisions at the time that you think they're right. The best decision that you can at the time with what you have available to you. So,
Yeah.
But I think that was probably a really good one.
Yeah.
A good example.
No, for
of
sure.
that.
Yeah. So was that when you said you started a career? Was that when you got into the insurance or
Nope. I was continuing to
do the music therapy? Okay.
And I did music therapy for a really long time. Really kind of stepping into the role of an interventionist. And so I would just use, because the state doesn't recognize music therapy as a therapeutic modality. And so I would be, interventionist that would come in for some behavior, social emotional support, and maybe some language building. But did that for a long time. Then I got into some more nonprofit work where I was working with, early education teachers. And I was helping them with their education because they have a lot of, those people are awesome. Like those are backbones right there. Those
For
are
sure,
teachers.
yeah.
And so they have to have a whole level of schooling to be a preschool, to be a infant teacher. And so I would help them get to that schooling. So I was a professional development specialist. And then I also taught at the college as well about infancy. So infant and toddler development. And special needs. So I was doing that. And honestly, this is what happened. This is the story behind the insurance, is that my mom would come over probably 3 nights a week from Woodland Park all the way to my house in Colorado Springs to babysit my kids at night after I had been at work all day and they were either in school and in daycare, right? So she'd drive that far, stay that late so that I could teach at night. So I was teaching.
Oh, you were grinding.
Yeah. 2 classes at Pikes Peak and then another class for the state for early childhood educators. And at one point I was going to leave and my kiddo was 10 and he goes, "Mom, you're working again? Like you're never here." And then I go, "Oh, crap. You're right." And so something had to change. And I was so focused on not needing money that in the interim, I was like neglecting my own children.
Isn't that ironic? You
Yeah.
were teaching childhood,
Yes.
development, and
Yes.
you weren't there for your child.
Yes.
Not saying you weren't there, like, but
No,
you
but that's
physically weren't
exactly
there.
what I teach people.
Yeah.
I said, this is what I would teach teachers. We always have to understand that the child's first teacher and the most important teacher is their parent. And what was I doing? You know what I mean? It's very ironic.
Yeah.
So
which is probably why you were able to have that self-awareness, though, I think.
Yeah.
That's,
I said something has to change.
Yeah.
And so my mom's like, "Well, maybe you should do something in sales. I don't know what, but how does that work?" So then a week later, I was taking my kid we were at Barnes and Noble because he was in tutoring for reading. And that's where they had this. So Children's Literacy Center is a great nonprofit. If you need a kiddo that needs help in reading, we didn't have to pay for it. The volunteers there were amazing. But that's where we were that night. And I ran into an old friend that said, "Hey, this is what I'm doing. I changed everything to do this. And it's kind of given me some freedom. It sounds like you need some freedom in your life." And I was like, "No." Because I don't know how to do anything else. If you asked me what a deductible was, I was like, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
I know I need a job that has benefits for health insurance. That's what I knew. So I went home and I told my then boyfriend, he's now my husband, but I told my boyfriend about this. And he was like, "Well, why can't you do that?" And I go, "I don't know. I just can't. I know early childhood development. I'm really good at it. So from there, I just started taking the course, took the test. I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. And I had the support of him. And he's like, it's going to be hard your first year, but we're just going to make your way through. And here we are.
Nice.
7 years later. Yep.
Yeah.
Making our way through.
And that first year, was it indeed hard?
Oh, it was awful.
Yeah.
It was awful.
I bet, yeah.
Yes. Yes. I had, and I still remember this guy, and I'll have to reach out to him again to tell him that he probably doesn't know that he was meaningful to me. But, first few months, I meet with this, and this is when I was driving everywhere. So I meet with this property and casualty insurance guy that he was a warm lead, wanted some health insurance. We talked on the phone. I went to La Junta to meet him at Village Inn, and he comes walking in, and he's got the whole cowboy getup on. And I'm like, oh man, okay, here we go. And so we sit down for our meeting, and he could totally tell I was green.
Oh yeah.
At all of it, right? Because he'd been doing this for 20 something years, and here I am like fumbling over my words, not knowing what I'm talking about. So I'm like, Hail Mary. I was like, listen, that I'm new at this. So let's just like put the insurance crap away, because you're going to make a decision, yes or no on that. Obviously I wasn't speaking this like, whatever, I was like, but I said, what's the trick? What is the trick to this business? And he said, be persistent. And I said, yeah, okay. And I remember that day. I remember what he was wearing. I remember like the words he said. And I was like, okay, I can try to do that. And so there's days that you have to put your crap away and just be like, okay, yep, I'm done for the day. Like this day kicked my butt.
Oh yeah.
But then you wake up the next day and it's a new day. And that day may kick your butt, but then you got to put it away. Okay, next day, this is what we're going to do. So I think that's the trick. Like I always did I learned, because I didn't always do this my first year because you're so hungry. But I eventually learned in that first year to do what's right for the person in front of you, even if that means letting them go. And to be persistent. And like doing those two things together has really launched my business, because I was able to be seen as a trustworthy advisor that I'm going to tell you if you're in a good spot. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear sometimes. And I'm not going to tell you that I have the best thing for you when it's not. It's very obvious that it's not, so I'm not going to try to push something on you that you don't want. So that's been really awesome for business. But then just being persistent and getting back after it, day after day, after getting it handed to you.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The persistence. I think that's the reason that's important, is because when you're persistent, every person you meet, everything you're talking about is about your business. It's like not every person you meet, but you're meeting multiple people, and you're meeting these people, and as you're meeting more and more people, and you're doing that consistently, that compounds. It's like this one person you met a year and a half ago, next thing you know, they're reaching out, or not even reaching out, they're sending someone or referring you, It's like,
and that's why I say you never know. You never know who's going to be your best referral source. You never know where your next referral's coming from. And so and I think about this often, like, do what's right all the time. You don't know who's watching you.
Yeah.
And I can't say that I've done that all the time.
Yeah. Well, that's integrity, right?
I can't say that I've been my best self
for sure
all the time. But I think about that often, like stupid things like, do I bring the cart back to the cart corral? Who's noticing that I'm doing that? Or do I offer to take somebody else's cart? You don't know who's watching you. So like always lead your life like with integrity, because people notice that stuff, especially nowadays. And you don't know how that's going to impact your business, or impact how your kids view you, or maybe even how you're raising them to be awesome people.
I would just like to say, if you're watching this and you don't put your cart back,
put your cart back.
I know, right? It's so annoying.
Or walk it back in. It's good for your health. It's good. Oh my god.
I mean, it's also just like, yeah, I was about to go on a tangent there, so I won't go into that tangent. It is obnoxious though that people don't do that, and it's just life
little
though, you know.
things, just little things. But I can tell you that we're human beings, and so
There's certain things that I probably do that are equivalent to not taking a cart
Yes.
back that I just have put into my mind that it's okay. I bet.
Yes.
I don't know. It's probably there.
Probably me too.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure, me too. But I think about like, okay, I'm not always living a life of like, I am such a great human. I mean, I lost my shit at the airport when our tickets weren't there, and like ruined our vacation. So like, there's times I probably was recorded.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes. I mean, yes, we're adults is what we like to call ourselves, but we're all just kids, you know. We're all just grown big kids in big bodies, you know.
That like put on this facade of being really responsible.
Yeah.
And like, yep.
And
For sure.
sometimes we can have our moments.
Yes.
And if you're saying that you're perfect and you don't have those, then you are lying to yourself.
Liar.
For sure. Yeah. That's very true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with the business, so you're growing Lighthouse. It's a rebrand.
Yeah.
Do you want to continue to keep? You said you want to continue to keep Three Chords Meadow going.
Yep.
But you want to kind of have it as something that can run itself and operate as a business without you in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe me just handing some things off is my thought. And we had a lot of help this year that was not my children. And it's interesting to watch like how other people do the thing. Right. And how I think, well, of course my way's the best, but not necessarily. And so there's a lot of things that were brought to my attention, like, we could do that. Maybe I can get somebody to take over the coordination, to take over tours, and really hand
with
that
SOPs,
off.
with systems and procedures.
Yeah.
You can literally hand off anything, and we keep it in our minds that we can only do it.
I know. So there's a lot of like, that's ruminating. So yes, that's going to continue, but we'll probably, I can't foresee us. I shouldn't say this. I don't know how to say this, but I don't foresee that Three Cord Meadows is going to be this huge, like we're doing weddings twice a week, 3 times a week. We're not going to be that. And I don't think we ever wanted to be that. So I'm trying to stay away from that. Like we really wanted to be family owned, family run. You're a part of our family. We even have people right on the board behind the head table. There's like a board and it's, like metal, but we have them take a Sharpie and we have them write a message to us after their wedding. And it's just a really cool thing. And people are excited to sign our wall and, the date of their wedding and, a little tidbit about their wedding. But, I don't think that it's going to be this big, like, boom, like here we are, we're the best in Colorado Springs.
Nor should it probably.
Yeah. It's cool when we get noted in those like cool things for like best wedding venues and we're on there. I'm like, holy moly, that's awesome.
Well, best doesn't necessarily mean the amount of weddings you're churning out. Best is the quality and experience that you're providing, I think.
I agree. And we've had really happy people. So I feel like we're really good at that. Lighthouse Group, we do have plans for. So Lighthouse Group, we have a new website. So it's lighthousehwg.com. Lots of moving parts with that, but we've made a new logo. My husband he's closing up his final year of landscape irrigation business he's owned for 25 years. And he's joined and he's had his license before for securities and just got that renewed again. Is health and life license. So he is doing the life and financial side of the house and I am doing health insurance and we're doing this thing together. So the plan is to really build in all of those areas. And so it feels more cohesive, which is another policy thing, like having processes in place. Oh my God. That's what I'm working on right now.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
That's so hard.
I'm working on that myself right now. Yes.
It's so hard. There's so much to it. But, and eventually once the kids kind of make their way through high school, the idea is we want to travel. And so we want to work on the road and we can do that with that business and we can do that together. And we've really built the Cord Meadows business together. So we're taking that same energy and putting it into Lighthouse Group. And yeah, it's a little bit more intense because it's a lot of, a lot of moving parts, a lot of information that goes in there, but we can do this, and it's already shown success. We're already figuring out some ways to make things work as a whole versus having our two separate parts.
Nice.
So, yeah. That's where we're at. It's super exciting.
That is, yeah. It's like, does it feel like a new business?
Yes.
Okay. And that freshness, I think, is important. You know?
Yeah.
Like it keeps you excited. It keeps you wanting to go, because maybe you've been doing the insurance a certain way for so long, or you've done the weddings for a few years now, and you want to keep things interesting. I guess with like a marriage, I guess you could say you got to keep things interesting. With a business, you got to keep things interesting,
Yeah, it's very true. And it's very, like, you think about the things that you do that you've been doing for so long, that when you add in another person, you're like, oh, well, maybe that's not the best way to do it. It was good for me, but now we have to change that a little bit, because it's not going to work with two people and then trying to communicate back and forth. So there's been a lot of changes to what I'm doing with health insurance, that I've been doing so long, just because we're going to have to be thoughtful about Lighthouse Group as a whole. So
do you plan on having like growing it to multiple people underneath you guys, or like how does that work?
I don't know.
Okay.
As far as like a team, sure, maybe having people that are joining us, but not, I've never wanted to be a business owner that has employees. So like thinking 1099s.
Oh, got you. Okay.
Isn't that terrible?
So you just
like
want
a lot of people want that and
Mhm.
like want that growth. And I'm like, oh, goal managing people. Like,
No, that's fine. Yeah, I think that's perfectly
that it's
fine.
never where I've wanted to be. And I think my husband could kind of go that way, that he would really want that.
With his irrigation company, does he have employees?
He has, like, they come on and off, but
Okay.
yeah, he does. And so he does that well, but it doesn't have to be very streamlined. When you need labor work, it looks a little bit different. So yeah.
It's not like you're trying to become a billionaire. You just want to be able to travel and be able to afford a life that you love.
Yeah. So I'm okay, with the space that we're in. I don't need to be this global entity. It's not really where I'm trying to go with this. But God always has different plans for me than what I think my plans are.
For sure, yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, we kind of take
2 years,
things as we go.
5 years from now, you're gonna have 500 employees.
I know. Like, and then we walk through that door, and just make our way through. So it's kind of how we've led our marriage life, and then into different businesses. We're just we have something presented, and we're like, I don't know what to do with this. What do I do?
Yeah.
And we sit and think and make a decision. So I don't know.
I don't know how insurance companies like operate or work, but I know that they can be very profitable. There's a guy named Pat Bet David. Maybe you've heard of him. He's got a YouTube channel called Valuetainment. And he's been able to grow his personal brand pretty well just by putting out content and making videos and stuff like that. But apparently this dude is loaded, like super rich.
Yeah.
And he owns it. He did it built it off of insurance.
Yeah.
And he has like one of like the biggest like conventions, and they're all his employees, like
it's crazy. It can be lucrative, and it really is about
it can be
numbers.
as big as you want,
Yeah. So
keep hitting that.
if you can find the numbers, then it can be there, so you got to do it for a long, long time.
And that guy
and he's been doing it for a long time. And then the persistence, and then really doing what's right for people. So like reputation is going to precede you. So if you do, if you're only looking at your own wallet and you're like being shady and not doing what's right for the person, it's going to catch up with you. It just does. And those people don't stay in the business very long because it catches up with them real quick. And all insurance agents would probably agree with me in that, that the people that are probably trying to pull the rug out for like, try to get people to get onto something that only pads their wallet, but may not be a good fit for them. It's not going to work out.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So you have to, insurance, you really have to lead your business with integrity. So
Yeah, and I would think it's fair to say that's with every business.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, I
because
agree.
like you said, over time reveals all.
Yeah.
But yeah, sure, some people may be able to make a few $100,000, like doing it the shady way.
Yeah.
But that will
It'll
reveal
catch up.
itself.
Yeah, it'll
The
catch
quick
up.
money is not. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's it. And if you're doing it long term and you're building something, the rewards just are better.
Yep.
And you feel good.
The
And
long game is where
Mhm.
it's at, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, sweet. Yeah, this has been a great conversation. I think we
Yeah.
can start wrapping this up. Where can people find you at?
Yeah. So I think I gave our new website, but I'll give it again.
Yes.
Right. Lighthouse, hwg.com. From there, we're going to have blog content, a place to sign up for a newsletter. You can schedule with us there. There's all kinds of freebie information there. So
Mhm.
a couple of the freebie information is 6 things that you'll want to consider that could be money savers for you that you don't have to pay anything for with health
Mhm.
insurance, right? And then 7 money milestones or 6 money milestones, something. My husband created that part because I'm not the financial advisor, but just talking about what you need to start thinking about in your journey to financial wellness. So there's a couple of important content things that you can download, some downloadables. Trying to think. We have a new business number. It's 719-645-6821, but it's on our website.
Okay.
In case I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I used to use my cell phone, so I'm like, what is our business number?
Mhm.
It's brand new. Yeah, and then Cord Meadows. It's the number 3, CORD, Meadows.com. There's all kinds of pictures. I mean, that's how you sell wedding venues. It's all about the pictures. You know that. So yeah, there's information on there. Oktoberfest is coming up.
Yes.
I don't think this will get out in
I don't
time.
think so either.
But
Mhm.
for next year,
Yes.
we'll have our 5th annual Oktoberfest, and that is a party that we have every year. It's not the typical standard wedding venue type party that's like flashy and elegant. It is Oktoberfest on the plains. So I have my German dress and my cowboy boots that I usually wear, and my
Nice.
husband will wear his lederhosen. But it's a fun event to not only thank our neighbors out there, but to also thank our networking friends, our business owners that support us every year. It's a great networking event.
Is DJ Shield doing the DJ?
Nope, we have DJ David Galvan.
Okay, nice.
He's doing ours.
Because I knew James knew you because when we did our hike the other day, my meeting after the hike was with James.
Oh my
and he
gosh.
brought you up.
I just
and
love
was
him.
I was like, whoa! I just was hiking with her. That's funny you brought her. I
He
forgot
is
why he brought you up,
awesome.
but he did bring you up.
He is awesome. We
Yeah.
love him. Yeah, so we have events throughout the day. I'm trying to think this year. We have a Lisa and her husband John that have Rhythm and Moves. Is that Rhythm and Moves? Anyway, they're dance instructors.
Nice.
And they're going to come give a dance lesson, and then we have a barn dance after that. We have door prizes, silent auctions. So we raise money. The whole idea of this event was to do all, networking. It's fun. Cord Meadows supplies the booze. We have Tito's Burritos coming out with a food truck. And then there's the big part of this is that we raise money for it's called a Diane Garduno Crisis Fund. And Diane Garduno, she was one of, she was in the middle school out at Ellicott. She was the principal there. And my kids were in school when she got in a bad car accident and she passed away. And so there's a lot of stuff that their family does in the community. One being this crisis fund, so people that are in Ellicott that have had a house fire, that have had a death in the family, that have car accidents, that it's a very underserved community, and many people don't have the money to help get them out of that hole. So they can apply for these funds through the school district. So we like to fund that as much as we can throughout the year. So last year we gave $500. I'm hoping we can do more this year. We do that through raffle tickets for door prizes that our Colorado Springs community puts together. So this is all from businesses,
Nice.
from Colorado Springs donating a gift certificate, something for a door prize. But now we've added the silent auction piece. So that's really exciting. Again, business small businesses in Colorado Springs are donating something so that people can do a silent auction. So I even have one lady get something signed from a Broncos football team player and
Oh,
is
nice.
having
Okay.
that as a silent auction item. So it's super
Mhm.
cool. I love presenting that check. It's really
That is
cool.
awesome. Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's cool that they have a fund like that for the
Yeah.
community, by the community,
Yeah.
you
And
know?
it was important to me to do something local.
Mhm.
Our kids go to that school.
Mhm.
They do a lot for people because of that school district. And I have a lot of love for Ellicott schools. So, I
Nice.
mean, rural communities, I have a lot of love for them.
Mhm.
So they just don't get looked at a whole bunch. So,
Mhm.
yep.
Awesome. And when is October? When is it?
Oktoberfest is September 10th
September
from
10th.
3
Yes.
p.m. till
Mhm.
everybody leaves, I guess.
Yeah.
Next year it'll probably be the same, like
Okay.
late September. So
Well,
go
that's
to
early
Facebook.
September, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, and usually Oktoberfest is late September, but we always have a wedding at that
Oh,
time.
I
So
got
that's
you.
why
Mhm.
never been able to do it. But
So you have German
my husband does.
heritage?
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. My husband does. So it's really cool to see him. Everybody really goes to see my husband in Lederhosen.
Okay.
Yep, that's the real reason.
Nice.
But yeah, it's a really fun time. So if you go to our Facebook page, Cord Meadows, the event stuff is always on there, and you can get tickets through Eventbrite. They're free tickets, but it helps us to determine how much beer
Mhm.
we need. So we will be making a run to Costco and purchasing a lot of beer
Yeah.
in the next week. So
Nice.
yep, that's the fun part is like when you like get to pick out all the beer
Mhm.
for people and then you get to the register, you're like, oh, bleh.
Yeah.
It's so expensive. But it's a really awesome gift for our
Mhm.
community, I think. So we're happy to do it. It's super exciting.
And
It's a fun day.
is that like on a Saturday or?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
Yep. Yep. So we have Jordan Denman coming to teach us about gardening. I mean, just a lot of stuff going on throughout the day. So
Awesome. Well, sweet. Well,
yeah.
thank you for coming on the show.
Thank
This has been
you.
good conversation.
It has been.
And yeah, I guess we'll probably schedule a follow-up in about a year or something.
Okay.
Yeah, we'd
I
like
would
to
love it.
see where you're at with your business. And
Okay.
we're gonna be around. We're here for the long term. So.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. All right.
All right. Well,
Thank you.
This has been the COS Business Podcast, and we'll see you guys on the next one.